Hey, welcome to Call Out to Cute. My name is Willurai. I am about to read you a small report on Aboriginal Liaison Officers in Community Policing by Matthew Willis. You can find this online. How did I start this search? It was basically by going, I wonder when the first Aboriginal Liaison Officer was ever appointed in the Australian Police Force. And I found this in 1986. So, well after the 50s, well after the 60s, well after the 70s, and almost more than halfway through the 80s. 4 Aboriginal people were appointed as Aboriginal Community Liaison Officers in northwest New South Wales, providing a link between the police and Aboriginal communities. Their appointment marked an important development in police relations with Indigenous communities. While certainly not the first initiative to engage Indigenous people as part of the police service, the ACLOs represented a very different approach from bodies such as the Native Police. I don't know what that is. Established in the mid-19th century as a coercive body designed to control and disperse Aboriginal people in the pursuit of white pastoral interests. Right. I didn't know that's what they were called. I know exactly what that is, but I did not know that's what they were referenced as, the Native Police. Through liaison, police sought to work better with Indigenous communities by fostering a mutual understanding and respect, increasing the likelihood that the community would work cooperatively with police in identifying crime issues, and provide operationally beneficial information and support. Sounds great for police. Police services in all Australian states and territories have roles dedicated to working with Indigenous communities, including liaison officers. See Table 1. Organisations. They may provide direct support to Indigenous offenders during the interviews while in custody, as well as to victims and their families. In some cases, they advise Indigenous people on basic legal issues and justice processing and may contribute to government policy development. Liaison officers are unsworn. What? Liaison officers are unsworn employees without police powers such as arrest, search, or use of force. In some jurisdictions, liaison officers are able to exercise some powers under the direction of a police officer in certain circumstances. That's creepy. For instance, Queensland Police Liaison Officers may perform traffic control duties in emergency situations, assist police in escort or guarding responsibilities where the PLO's presence may prevent or reduce violent behaviour, and search or photograph prisoners where the prisoner refuses to cooperate with police but consent to cooperate with the PLO. Whoa. The Police Liaison Officer is what PLO stands for. The role and function of liaison officers is distinct from other Indigenous specific police roles, such as community constables or Aboriginal community police officers. Don't know. Jurisdictions with remote Indigenous communities have tended to establish specialist Indigenous police roles for these communities. Community constables in South Australia and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander police in Queensland are sworn special constables, like special treatment, with some or all of the powers of general constables. Queensland's different, eh? And so is the Torres Strait. In Northern Territory, with its large Indigenous population, does not have liaison officers, instead developing Aboriginal community police officers. Interesting. Funded jointly by police and communities. What? Aboriginal community police officers perform many of the roles of a general constable, working alongside other police members to provide liaison and law enforcement functions. In other jurisdictions such as Queensland, Aboriginal community police are employed by community councils and derive their powers from Aboriginal council by laws. In Western Australia, the Aboriginal Police Liaison Officer scheme is being phased out. In 2005, ALPOs who wished to transition to sworn constables were given the opportunity to do so. Western Australian Police Service NA. Some chose not to do so, and a small number of APLOs retained their role and employment status under transitional arrangements. Several APLOs reportedly resigned because they did not want the responsibilities of a constable and were concerned that their work was becoming devalued and no longer assisted Indigenous communities. In brackets, it just says Vivian, 2009. However, an earlier survey of Indigenous community members in Western Australian regional city found that with no Indigenous police officers in the area, the APLOs having no police powers, Indigenous people in the police force were seen to be in notably less powerful positions than non-Indigenous people. In brackets, Eversole, Routh and Ridgway, 2004. And you know I'm going to be searching up all of these after. Might yarn with you about it another time, another video. Here we go. Challenges. At the heart of the liaison officer's role is an effort to build bridges between two groups whose relations historically and contemporaneously have often been fractious. Wow. And marked by power imbalances and distrust. The troubled past of police Aboriginal relations. I'm not laughing or smiling because any of this is a laughable matter. I'm just more laughing at the effort made to choose specific words in this article. That has been saved in the New South Wales, in the State Library as well. So you can check it out there because it is an official document. Sorry, focusing. The troubled past of police Aboriginal relations is implicitly and in some cases explicitly recognised through the existence of policing strategies and policies. The Western Australian strategy policy on police and Aboriginal people clearly states the police service acknowledgement of the historical problems in the policing of Aboriginal people. In the past, circumstances have resulted in Aboriginal people not being accorded their full rights of access for a variety of reasons, including racism, remoteness, discriminatory government policy and legislation, and at times a reluctance by police officers to enact their role. Occupying a space between the police service and Indigenous communities creates unique challenges for liaison officers in exercising a responsibility to both the police service and the community. Wow, the idea is that it's everyone in the community, right? All the black fellas, right? That's the idea here. Sorry, back to the article. The liaison officer risks being seen by each group as an agent of the other. Whew. Imagine the Aboriginal liaison officer being seen as an agent of Aboriginal community. Far out. Potentially being alienated and rejected by both. That sounds awful. This dilemma has been most clearly illustrated in those areas and situations where tensions between police and Indigenous communities have been greatest, at times escalating into violent conflicts between police and the Aboriginal communities. In inner city Redfern, Sydney and Palm Island, Queensland provide cases in point. The relationships between police and Indigenous community in the Redfern area has long been negative. Redfern, that's like just next to Glebe. If you don't know the map, very close to Glebe. Glebe and Redfern also have a lot of crossovers in terms of the demographic of how many Aboriginal people are there, and that is due to the large amounts of public housing that is in Glebe, as well as a lot of historic, cultural reasons, let's say. Back to the article. Yeah, Redfern. If you don't know where Redfern is, just research it. It's where I went to daycare, primary school, TAFE, grew up. Has been negatively impacted to a large extent by the police force's role as the visible agent of a non-Indigenous government, tasked with executing, not the best idea of words, past policies of control and suppression, fueling distrust and resentment. In brackets, so everything I say in brackets is something you can go and research as well yourself. Legislative. See, that shows how much I give a fuck about legislation, right? No, not true. I care a lot. Council in New South Wales, 2004. For police operating in a sometimes hostile community troubled by violence, alcohol misuse, and the increasing presence of illicit drugs. I wonder how all those drugs got into Redfern, the block. I'm sorry, back to the article. Efforts by police and community leaders to improve relations, including through the use of PLOs, police liaison officers, have at times broken down following violent disturbances. The death of local Aboriginal teenager, of a local, oh I see, so they're not going to name. The death of a local Aboriginal teenager who fell off his bicycle in February 2004 while being followed by a police vehicle sparked a violent disturbance at that the media called one of Australia's worst race riots. Race riots. Fuck, we really should be avoiding one of those. Hey. Yeah, deaths don't want a race riot. Whether or not the extent of the violent disturbance justified this rather hyperbolic description, I think they're referring to like bigotry in the media. I think that's what they're talking about there. It garnered attention on the issue of police and Aboriginal community relations in Redfern and highlighted the difficult ground trod by liaison officers. In the aftermath to the disturbance, 2 Redfern ACLOs told a parliamentary inquiry that police had covered up the circumstances of the teenager's death. The police command had ignored their warnings of trouble brewing in the community the day before the disturbance, and that there was a racist element among the Redfern police. Impaled Redfern. What else is Redfern known for? Oh yeah, that's where there was that mural of the burning cop car. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Yeah. Yeah, you can buy it on a t-shirt now. Back to the article. One ACLO said his house had been burned down since the disturbance, and he had received death threats from police who told him not to give evidence. The inquiry also heard evidence that police were skeptical about the role of ACLOs, although it was noted that this seemed to be improving and that training for ACLOs was limited. One ACLO described his role as being the meat in the sandwich, distrusted by some in the community and being seen by both the community and the police as working for the other. Again, it mentions the legislatively stupid Council of New South Wales, 2004, Section 28, so you can research that up. I might not have said that right though. Other witnesses said ACLOs seen to be working with the police were considered dogs. Dog. While another said the ACLOs, and meanwhile this is like the only thing that's ever been done to apparently help the situation by the Australian police force. As far as I know, this is it. Aside from having some token hires, of course. One quote. Okay, now they're talking about Palm Island. I don't think I'm going to go into Palm Island. I might do that in another separate video. So this is on, if you are looking for it, it is on a website called Indigenous Justice Clearinghouse, and you can look for a tag which says Aboriginal Liaison Officers in Community Policing, and then you can, there's a link just next to the bit where it says links, and you can actually download the entire thing, keep it on your computer or whatever, up to you. Yeah. And I'm going to be doing another video about this complex issue at some stage in the next few weeks, depending on how I feel as a disabled, Black, marginalised person that survives discrimination every single day in so-called Australia. If you've enjoyed this video, if it's been beneficial at all, if it's educational at all, or you'd like to chat about it, you are welcome to comment, subscribe, click like, and of course share to anybody who you think will be interested in knowing that this video is here. Thanks from Call Out to Cute.